What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 6 landing for the North American Strikers League. We finally made it through promotion season, and we have one more day's worth of matches to determine which 4 teams will be joining Season 6 of NASL. My name's Gordo. I am joined by Sloth on the broadcast once again to kick things off, and we are going to be over here in Group A covering our run through the winners side.
Yeah, and we have an absolute beautiful game to start us off with, right? We have Bunn Bunn Bonanza against the Flying Blobbos. Obviously, Bunn Bunn being a team that has been in NASL, I think, the past 3 seasons, and been a pretty good staple. Looking to make the run back into the league here as their opponent. They've chosen Flying Blobbos. They had a good showing yesterday in liftoff, right? They came through upper brackets, which is already like an important thing, right? As for mental and momentum and everything. So an interesting series that we're going to go into, and interesting in terms of map and awakenings as well, as we're on clearing test chambers with stacks on stacks. So movement will be the name of the game today.
Yeah, definitely will be. Looking like there's going to be quite a few stacks on stacks selections. Everybody except for Fire Madden, who is choosing to go for the Might of the Colossus instead. And yeah, like you called out, we got to see quite a bit from Flying Blobbos yesterday, at least you and I personally did on our coverage. Looking like they're already off to a solid start. Is J-Man going to push up the top side? Fire Madden going to be able to come up with that goal credit. Going to be looking to keep their run going, as you said, qualified from the winner's side. That earns them the right to be in this upper bracket and compete up against the likes of the NASL veterans in the form of Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, and it's gonna be it's also an added bonus, right? If you're starting from the upper bracket, no matter the outcome of this series, either you're finding yourself in a qualification spot or you're gonna find yourself in a lower bracket where you have another chance at making it through, right? It gives you that leeway of potentially taking a loss and still being in it to make the qualification. But they're definitely currently not playing like they're looking to take that loss at all, as they're actually leading 2-0 in this set.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Madden lines him up and knocks him down right there. Set up perfectly for the ricochet off the bumper and gets Lilybun while he's at it. Now going to be able to pick on up that boost coming in the form of the orb, and just brawling with Scyther 12 so effectively thanks to that additional boost coming on through as access to the flip. Going to use it just to buy a little bit of space there. I don't know if they thought they were going to be able to catch the core or not, but still going to come up with both of the barriers. Scyther finally going to snag him with the death touch to be able to pick on up his first KO. Now taken on towards barriers for the power play. Liari, nice navigation with the Rose Warp, but still Pensando able to work that core back around Scyther, able to hold on to at least one of the barriers until that flip comes on through, be able to secure in a flip out of Liari, gonna put it into the goal for the first goal of the match for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
That'll get the momentum going for them. They ended up using 2 flips for it, which means now only Lilybun will have that flip available on the side of Bunn Bunn. On the other hand, for the Flying Blobbos, J-Man has a flip available here, is gonna have to use it to actually stay alive, and still gets taken out. That's actually gonna create so much momentum for the side of Bunn Bunn, as that also means the stacks and stacks are gonna get reset, as they're playing off of it perfectly as well, taking both the barriers, and are now looking to make this power play worth its time, as they cannot find the goal in the end, but still an incredibly advantageous position for them to be in.
Real nice for J-Man to be able to get that back over to Fire Madden. It was looking like could be Scyther finding a real close to checkmate shooting angle onto Pensando, and now going to get another shot at it here. The only one on the bottom side. Death touches it back and puts it in the corner. And Scyther showing some of that winner of Rookie of the Split a couple of splits in NASL ago, and showing some of that has made us so excited for him in the past.
Yeah, most definitely, and the barrier falls almost immediately again, as the side of Bunn Bunn are not giving in and not letting any pressure go. A second barrier is found as well. Pensando's trying to get some aggressive plays going, gets one barrier, has a flip defensively as well if he needs to use it, but overall, Bunn Bunn will have just so many tools to be working with, as now all 3 of their members have fully stacked stacks and stacks. Doesn't matter though, Fire Madden in front of the goal will actually get the confirm with the flip, and will take the first set now in favor of the Flying Blobbos.
Yeah, Flying Blobbos taking an early lead in a 5-round set. That's going to give first pick over to Fire Madden. Looking at quite a selection here. Primetime is up and available. Always expecting to see some priority out of that one.
Yeah, most definitely. Other than that, you also have a Stinger, which could be quite a nuisance over time. The Big Fish is going to be the pickup for Fireman. It makes sense together with that Might of the Colossus. Extra size is going to do so much for you as more speed finds its way to Scyther. The Prime Time going to be a great tool for Pensando to help with on the defense and even help offensively a bit, as the Stinger and Reverberation will be picked up by Liari and Lilybun each. And last but not least, our Lord and Savior Orb Replicator finds its way through the draft as well, as it's going to hope to keep the side of Flying Blobbos alive now that Bunn Bunn has picked up more damage.
Sure, and J-Man going to be the one who comes on up with that orb in the center. He's going to have that bonus speed and using that size to be able to win out these strike wars, but huge damage from Liari, showing what gets brought to the table by that Stinger. So they do get a big chunk onto him. Liari waiting for the pass coming through from Lilybun. Really good at navigating these core control situations with that piercing shot. Scyther trying to take the whiplash into aggressive stance, but Pensando still able to clear things out really effectively. Nice barrage from J-Man, pushes it into that last barrier, but Scyther able to do the same on the opposite side, working their way around Pensando's defenses and getting a stagger there onto Firemat, and Lilybun stepping up. They want to end it right here. The KO comes through into the goal, but J-Man able to move things back over, be able to buy some of that crucial additional time. Scyther, though, so strong here at a 2-level advantage. The flip out of J-Man responded to by Lilybun, gets it over to Scyther, flip out of Pensando. J-Man misses theirs as well, and everybody's energy is blown just for Firemat to come in and find the score.
The angle was fun in the end, and more importantly as well, J-Man stayed alive, keeping these 92 stacks on himself now. To be playing with Kai, obviously such a great character when you have that movement speed, and you'll see Bunn Bunn continuously kind of damage on top of him as well, because trying to get these stacks off is going to be so valuable for them in the long run.
Tough season for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, trying to turn things around now in the promotion tournament, get themselves another shot. Have been playoff teams before, have been a playoff team before, as of lately had some more struggles. Now looking to see if they can show off against Flying Blobbos. Keeping up some good pressure on the bottom side is Scyther, taking both of those barriers. Nice death touch onto J-Man, looking to be able to find the KO. J-Man is going to stay standing. Pass on up. Liari back into the center, nearly taking out J-Man with the whiplash, but Firemadden, a little bit of a breakaway. They have to manage to keep it away from him. Scyther finds the KO. Pensando commits to try to save the core at midfield, and that's an open net for Scyther.
Yeah, and the Sax on Sax game really just looking in favor of Bunn Bunn, as again, they're really close to having all three fully stacked. Lilybun is already stacked as well, so she can make use of that Amy, even without the eject button, to walk up, as you've been seeing her do so often. And you see the value in a play like that just there, as both barriers drop. Scyther, with a beautiful core control play up front, will be able to confirm the goal there as well.
Gorgeous from Scyther. That's what's got to make you a fan of this guy. So good in those close to the net situations at putting together these mix-ups and finding their way into the goal up against defenders. A pendulum swing KO is found there for Scyther as well, and now really well set up to be able to make something happen on this power play. Liari comes in with the Crystal Thorns to be able to take one of the barriers. Pendulum swing nearly going to find another. Lilybun out of the goal arc, using her energy burst to try to see if they can keep the pressure on towards that barrier. But Pensando holding stalwart here, refuses to let it go on through. Deflects another one, but that is another KO secured for Bunn Bunn Bonanza. They're the ones who lose their barrier for it, though. And Pensando and Fireman doing a good job of buying additional time for this respawn. The second barrier will fall. Liari and Scyther are going to try to close it out right here, and Scyther finds it in the strike war, takes it right out of J-Man's hands and puts it in for a set win.
I'm starting to believe Scyther is unable to lose a strike war, as there's just win after win after win. Takes a barrier, takes the goal, and takes a much deserved set MVP here for a first pick. Looking at the Awakening's a build different, obviously an incredible pickup for him, and a great deny of a Firemadden as well, giving him so much more area to work with all of his abilities, and just the strike range as well, as the first spark will be picked up by Firemadden, trying to get that going early. Twin Drive falling down to Lilybun, a great Awakening for Amy, allowing to be active up front with that eject button even more than she's already been. Rapid Fire, a lovely pickup for J-Man. Spark pickup for Liari, and last but not least, extra special for Pensando. Could actually be quite difficult to be dealing with, just due to the sheer presence of the Blobbos overall. But definitely a great draft again for the side of Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Absolutely. Really good for them and starting to get into their comfort zone now. So they've got themselves exactly the awakenings they would be looking for, and Scyther looking to be playing at his peak right now. He's been able to execute really well in that second set, looking to keep it going now with the addition of that built different. Try to get that little bit of extra damage and that little bit of extra size. Juking around at midfield now, J-Man and Liari both landing some of these ranged abilities to try to keep control over the core. J-Man going to take a fair bit of damage in the center, though, as the Whiplash comes on through, and Scyther pushing them deeper in. Liari there to keep receiving at midfield. Will get it stolen away by Pensando, though, sneaking in there with a Blobbo bounce, finding in on towards both barriers. Now looking for the shot. Big dodge from Fire Madden, going to avoid going down to the KO. Fire Madden takes the shot, forces the flip out of Lily Bunn, who will hold on to it for the time being. Now it's in Scyther's hands. Low health bars, low energy across the board here for the Flying Blobbos, but not quite able to find their way on towards the remaining barrier. Pensando still holding up these defenses with the Blobbos quite effectively. Liaria trying to support up from midfield. Flip forced out by that piercing shot. Fireman tries to take the shot. Gets deflected away by Lilybun in time, but back into Fireman's hands. One-on-one. Glitch Pop trying to clear it out. Will be able to fend it down towards the bottom and get it back into Liari's hands. Fireman getting another shot here, but everybody on top of him going to make it difficult to be able to manufacture the opportunity. Energy bursts countered back and forth. Liari finally able to find that barrier, and she finds the piercing shot as well into the goal for an early lead to Bunn Bunn.
And you can see how oppressive Bunn Bunn is playing as well. They're dumping so much damage into the side of Flying Blobbos, which just makes it very difficult for them to really play it out. Their team comp is mainly trying to look to get the core up front to Fire Madden and use that Julie force to get it through Lilybun's defense. But J-Man's just not able to get that core up there. He's just continuously being harassed by damage, which makes it so difficult to really get an attack going, which leads to Bunn Bunn constantly being on the attack.
Yeah, nice save again from Lilybun, able to hold on towards that barrier. Liari, though, goes on the wrong side of the Rose Warp, sets up an offense for Flying Blobbos inadvertently, and it will get into the goal. J-Man able to get this entire game dead even, 1-1, one set apiece.
And that is the strength of the Kai when you're not consistently down at 1 HP, right? You do have that force coming towards Lilybun there, which is difficult to deal with on the Amy. But as you can see, almost immediately, again, HP bars are going low. Orbs have to be picked up. Flip coming out from Fireman in front of the net now. Will take the barrier. Will look to get a goal set up here as well, as J-Man will actually get the core, and a beautiful barrage will force it right past Lilybun. Not much she can do there.
Yeah, I mean, from a great set from Scyther into a great set from J-Man so far, doing a really good job of maintaining control over the core, keeping things over on the left side of the map, not losing out on these duels at midfield, and stopping Scyther from really getting to play the game over the course of these last couple of points. Fireman over the wall, finds that KO onto Liari, creates a power play for the Flying Blobbos as they look to take their second set here. What else can they find? Pensando coming out of the goal arc, trying to help out with the Blobbo bounce. Scyther has been able to clear it away for the time being. It is going to be in the hands of J-Man, now pinned into that bottom vent. Scyther able to push for a little bit more, and that sentry turret going to be able to take things on towards the first of the barriers. Liaria, of course, respawned a while ago, back out to help the team now. Scyther gets Whiplash onto all three members. Still looking to see if they can present that little bit of extra damage, find those KOs that helped them out so much in set number 2. Flip comes out of Lilybun, responded to by the Blobs. KO is found in trade for the barrier. The shot from the Blobbos. Lily can't get back in time, and Pensando will win a second set for the Flying Blobbos.
Even though the power play was in favor of Bunn Bunn, the Flying Blobbos were able to get the push through and are rewarded with another set win here. As we're looking at the Awakenings, and I feel like the Stagger Swagger has to be a huge priority for J-Man. Staying alive has been such a difficulty so far for him due to Kai's low HP pool and all that damage coming out, so that's going to help him tremendously. As Super Surge is also not to be underestimated pickup for Lilybun. Together with that Twin Drive, that is going to be a lot of damage coming out of the Amy. But again, you have Stagger Swagger now for Kai. He's going to be able to deal with it a little bit better now. On the other Awakenings, the second Spark finding its way onto Liari, going to help with those cooldowns at that HP bar. Another Size Awakening for Fire Madden is also going to do great work for him, as he's going to get even more power off of it. And a Recovery Drone has the rest to it, which can help you in some situations as well.
Absolutely can. There's another piercing shot going a little bit wide J-Man nearly taken out off the top, but again, these bumpers have really been helping out the Flying Blobbos in this game number 1 as they manage to find both of their barriers. Also nice ricochets. Scyther going to be able to take one on the other side, but it's a nice shot from Fire Madden into the goal once again to take the lead 2 goals away. They're able to find this set win and being able to win themselves game number 1 of this best of 3.
That is the benefit of the triple size awakenings and Firemat, and these dash punches are going to have so much range, and you even saw it there, that strike war is just going to be made so much more difficult for the side of Bunn Bunn, as the pressure is just too much. Pensando jumped up to keep the pressure up top, so J-Man had the opportunity to run below and cover that only clear angle that Lilybun had. Really great offense. Flying Blobbos are actually finding themselves now 1 goal away from taking game 1.
Really are, and really strong showing from them in that last point, just unrelenting in the offense, and here it comes again. Fire Madden finds that last punch in 3-0 in this 4th set, going to take the Flying Blobbos up to 1-0 in the series. What a showing from them against the NASL veterans.
Yeah, an incredible showing. They just found their way to play it out towards the latter end of the game, and there was just not much that can be done anymore for the side of Bunn Bunn. That pressure just ended up being a bit too much for the Amy pick from Lilybun to be able to defend against, as we're looking at the stats here as well. Nothing of insane note. Very well played from all sides here, honestly. I feel like we see the 5 KOs off of Scyther would helped a lot in those early stages for momentum, but towards the end he wasn't really finding those anymore, and at that point the pressure just got a little bit too much for Bunn Bunn to defend against.
Yeah, I mean, I think just really explosive in their offense here from the side of the Flying Blobbos. J-Man and Fireman constantly able to punish Lilybun anytime she moved outside of the goal arc to try to help out, whereas the same cannot be said for Pensando. Pensando able to get involved quite a bit on offense, jumping out of the goal arc pretty frequently, able to return back. I mean, that Juno has been so strong for Pensando over the last couple of days. Curious to see how it falls in the draft in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pick that can be looked at to even either be picked away or banned out, because the next game is going to be on Atlas's lab, right? And at lab, you can definitely still play a Juno goalie in there as well. So I'm curious to see how Bunn Bunn's going to be approaching that pick. I'm also curious to see if they're maybe going to think about some other picks that have been played out here, right? J-Man's Kai was being very oppressive the moment that he had the ability to stay on the map for a bit longer than 5 seconds, which could also be something to be looked into.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything looks so strong here. And the other thing is Bunn Bunn Bonanza on a composition that they should be very, very comfortable on. I'd say some of the best characters that these players have historically had in their hands in that game, and it still just was not enough. Going to be a Castellas Deadeye start now as we get into the picks and bans for game number 2.
Yeah, this is just gonna be another like KO heavy game, I would imagine. Deadeye just opens up so many lethal picks to just shine so extremely well. We're looking at Finnies, we're looking at Luna. The Vices are gonna be fine. The Amy pick's gonna be good as well. Estelle with Deadeye is also not to be underestimated. That's a lot of damage output can come out from that pick. On the other hand, Castellast is gonna favor some characters that are not necessarily gonna be the best if it comes into a KO heavy game, I'd argue, right? You're thinking of Era, you're thinking of Naru, you're thinking of something like the Kai as well, which gives a lot of effect for them, yes, but they're not necessarily going to be able to stay alive against the pure onslaught that Deadeye can bring to the draft. So I'm curious to see where the priorities here are going to lie, if there's going to be a ban away from a potential Finny from the side of Flying Blobbos to not be dealing with that, or if we're just going to leave it open and just let it run, see how many KOs can be racked up in a single series.
Yeah, I mean, Finny, another strong pick for Lilybun as well. So if they do end up leaving it up, it might be something that we do get to see out of Bunn Bunn Bonanza. They aren't going to have the first pick, of course. It will be going over to the Flying Blobbos here on Bunn Bunn's map selection. So just waiting for this draft to get on started and start to get some of these questions answered. I think the bans in game number 1, it was the Dakar was banned for the Flying Blobbos, the Drakkar. But what was the ban for Bunn Bunn? I do not remember.
It was Octavia. I think,
Octavia, okay.
which would be a very valid pick with a Castellax start, of course.
Mhm.
But again, it's kind of going to come down into, yes, you're going to have that flow state up for seemingly ages with a Castellax, but if you're going into a full damage composition, it might not be incredibly easy for this Octavia to stay alive. So it is something to consider in this draft. You could start going as well to kind of deny that strong damage strikers and look to pick that Octavia. But I feel like you're going to be putting yourself into quite a challenging situation if you're trying to make it run in this AdLab game.
I completely agree. So, going to be quite the draft here. And I mean, has a lot on the table. Winner of this going to end up coming up with a qualification match up against a Wee's Little Bees. So, could be just one series win away from being able to make it into NASL. And that's got to be exciting time for the Flying Blobbos coming on in here, qualifying off liftoff on the winner's side. A really great run for them so far. Would be capped off perfectly if they were able to make it to NASL. I think would be the first time for Fire Madden and J-Man, if I'm not mistaken. I think J-Man played as a sub previously. I thought Pensando played a little bit, though, of NASL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe he came in to the Modern Magic roster towards the end of the season. I'm not fully certain on that, but he definitely
Saya will know.
was
Saya will know, and Saya will correct me if I'm wrong. So, no
very
worries. I
correct as
promise.
well.
Yes. Okay. Confirmed. Yes. Pensando played over for Modern Magic, and Modern Magic is now Wee's Little Bees. So would be a little bit of a grudge match there in the qualification match if it did happen. There are the picks and bans. The Drakkar and Octavia going to stay. The Juno going to be the first snap up once again for the side of the Flying Blobbos. So going to still have that power for Pensando in the goal arc.
Yeah, that's gonna have a lot of value as well because actually Juno's primary does an incredible amount of damage. Juno's primary on baseline does more damage than Vice's primary on impact, in case you didn't know. So that Deadeye is gonna help that Juno hurt even more if there's gonna be a KO angle coming up from the side of Flying Blobbos. And I feel like we got a really good idea of what Bunn Bunn's gonna be playing for because they locked in a Luna and an Estelle, two excellent Deadeye users, a lot of damage that they can be pumping out that way. So I feel like even though the Kai pick did J-Man a lot of good work in the last game, it's going to be much more difficult for him to be staying on the map here, going up against two of these picks with
A
Deadeye.
full run back.
Mhm.
Full run back drafted here for the Flying Blobbos. So going to be the Estelle Luna. Definitely looking pretty good here for the side of Bunn Bunn, given that Deadeye start. Got to believe that's what we're going to see on both of them. Now looking to see what they round things out with. A pick on Scyther here could very well be what makes the difference. I do think this player is who we're going to need to see some big stuff from on Bunn Bunn. Are they just going to go 3 ranged? Is it going to be Scyther on the Luna and just a run back on the Aimi from Lilybun? That would be crazy.
I am so incredibly down for that because all of these three characters get so much value out of the Deadeye. There's not really a brawler you can pick here that's gonna be as strong with a Deadeye pick than just going for another ranged character here. And also, I really quickly want to point out, this is going to be another fun little game for the stat books because this Juliet's going to have to go either Castellax or Deadeye. So we'll see where the value is going to be in those picks.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, yeah, you could have gone X Castellax. There's other brawlers out there, but it does look like the priority is going to still fall on this Luna. We are assuming, of course, that it will be Luna. In the brawler position, it will be Scyther on that Luna. We'll find out once we get into the actual game. Just feels like that would make the most sense. Of course, see on your screen, it is going to be the same picks in the same players for the side of the Flying Blobbos, looking to take a 2-0 win here and move themselves onto a qualification match.
It worked for them once, we'll see if it's gonna work again as we're now seeing Scyther 12 on the Pummelers Luna with Deadeye. That's gonna be a lot of damage and a lot of knockback coming out of that Luna. And as expected, everyone on the Deadeye, with the exception of Fire Madden and J-Man, who opted to go for the Castellax. J-Man obviously is just gonna play for that speed, trying to overwhelm with that speed and that barrage and get these cores in before they end up dying. And Castellax, Julie, I mean, it's a statistic now. We can say it happened.
We can, and we will, and it'll come up more often, I'm sure. Going to be a big Castellax Juliet here, and not going to stop Fireman from kicking things off as they move in to score.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it in the first point just a little bit already. The pressure in this game is really going to be on Bunn Bunn to get these KOs and to get that damage out. Because if you're not going to be threatening those HP bars from Flying Blobbos, they're just going to have sustained pressure. That's just going to be suffocating your defense. Because yes, you have a lot of damage output, and you have 3 great characters that can interrupt from range. But if you have a Juliet in front of you, none of them really have a great tool to be dealing with a situation like that. So they do need to find that damage. They do need to find those threats, or just great setups as well with maybe a piercing shot or a Luna Dash, because if they cannot find that with time, the Flying Blobbos are gonna be favored.
Absolutely here, and J-Man gonna find themselves staggered here, but able to hang on to it, dodging on out from that crater coming out of Scyther. Scyther looks to move into a more aggressive position. Going to need to be very precise on this Luna. You definitely don't have size in your favor, so you need to be able to direct yourself perfectly, but getting KO'd by Fire Madden, not what you want to happen, and a power play for the Flying Blobbos with an open goal available as they look to close out this point. Flip comes out of Lily Bunn, stuffed by Fire Madden, as it is a 2-0 lead to the Flying Blobbos.
Excellent timing coming out from Firemat, and then just completely shutting down that flip that Lilybun won't have available for this point. As Flying Blobbos are going to look to take this set in a 3-0 fashion. We'll see if they can get themselves set up for it as they're trading barriers. Fireman and J-Man both low on evades though, so do need to be a bit careful around those edges to not be taken off cleanly, but they're just taking the second barrier, and again, they're just immediately setting up for an attack. That's just so difficult to defend against. Liari has to use the flip to keep the point alive.
Very, very close there. Liari saving it at the last possible second. That was as necessary of an energy burst as I've ever seen. But now still going to be on the back foot. They still have 1 barrier to go. Nice move by Scyther with the boost to be able to open things up and trying to get themselves a little bit of momentum back in this series, as they have just been getting run circles around here. If you count the previous set, or the final sets of the first game, I think this is like 7 goals in a row or something for the Flying Blobbos, but Scyther will finally be able to cut the loss streak.
Yeah, an important goal that was to find, because again, it's a game of momentum. Omega Strikers is so heavy on the momentum, on the mindset that you can get as well. So even just getting a goal, even if you end up losing this first set for the side of Bunn Bunn, knowing that it wasn't a 3 in a 3-0 fashion, it's already going to do so much for you. As the first barrier drops on the side of Bunn Bunn, but likely going to be trading that back almost immediately here, even game state again.
Yeah, going to move right back on over, going to be able to take down that second barrier, and nearly able to find the score. Liari resetting up towards the top. Lilybun falling back on defense. Going to not be able to save it, though. Fireman moving right on up, getting right into the goal.
Yeah, and a big first set win. Gonna be a first pick for the Juliet here as well. We'll see what Fireman's gonna be able to pick up here. Size, heavy impact, more importantly, I feel like, is gonna be it. Although Lilybun is gonna be very happy with the choices left over there. Extra special gonna be a great pickup as well. Fireman actually opting to go for sparks here, trying to get those started early. Obviously spark of strength being a huge value for Juliet. Heavy impact finding its way onto Lilybun, helping with that damage, as the prime time's gonna help Pensando just like it did last game to just keep up the pressure. Spark to Liari is gonna help with movement speed. The extra special has to be denied off of Scyther 12 there to minimize that damage output, but the prize fighter is going to make it so much more worse now if the abilities do actually land, and if Cypher 12 will find these KOs to get that stacked up.
We're going to need to see, but another KO coming on out for the Flying Blobbos already. Liari off the map. Lilybun and Scyther just trying to buy themselves some additional time. Scyther with another nice boost to try to take control, but it just ends up right back on the offense for the Flying Blobbos. J-Man pressuring forward with the barrage. Takes the second of those barriers, and finally going to be able to get some range shots on through to take one on their side. But Fireman moves up and takes the shot from outside the arc. Lily can't get back to it in time, and it is another score for the Flying Blobbos.
Flying Blobbos are playing it so well. They're on a roll here. They seem to be in control of the game just so securely as they find barrier after barrier and score after score, even finding more KOs than the side of Bunn Bunn here, even though Bunn Bunn's the team that ended up picking for these KOs with these 3 characters using Deadeye. So Bunn Bunn is going to have to find something, maybe a different approach to their defense or attack to kind of break this flow that the Flying Blobbos have going for them right now. Because right now, it's starting to look like this game can be over in 2 more sets.
It definitely is, so see if they're able to hold on for long enough. Flip comes out of Lilybun, gonna take both barriers. Nicely done there. And going to see if they can take it all the way on through to try to break this loss streak. Another KO coming on through, this time out of Fire Madden. Pensando moving outside of the goal arc, and Scyther with a shot. The Blobbo doesn't connect, and that is an easy cruise in for a point to Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, the Blobbo slightly misaligned. They're not able to catch it as the sets are evened out. Going into kickoff here, Liari and Scyther will have their flips available soon, so can use that to secure the second barrier if they need to, as the first one's already dropped. J-Man down to half HP with no evades as well. Likely going to be the target here, as its secondary, together with a flip, will come out to get that kill secured. Second barrier drops as well. Cypher 12 now in front of the net, tries to get Pensando out, but the evade is there in time to actually keep him alive, as one barrier gets traded back. Liari staying alive and safe in their own goalie net right now.
Staying alive for the time being, but moving in for another shot here is the likes of the Flying Blobbos. Blobbo nearly puts it right in there, but they will be able to hang on for the time being. It's moving back over to midfield. Scyther moving up with the boost, not quite going to connect. Lilybun here to help on out, though, with that sentry turret, sending it towards the goal. Crater going to force another elusive out of the members of the Flying Blobbos, and Liari shows up with the Rose Warp to put it in the goal, 2-1 in favor of Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
1 goal away from evening it out in sets, and they would very much like to do that because we have a lot of strong awakenings still in the rotation, right, which would make the life of Bunn Bunn a lot easier. We'll see if they can actually close that out and get it, as now Core is bouncing around in the midfield, trying to get an attack going. Flying Blobbos have a flip on Fire Madden and soon one on J-Man. We'll see if they can get the second barrier here. No, but Pensando's holding on to Core very steadily.
Yeah, absolutely. So able to hold on for a little bit extra and going to be able to keep up that defense. You know, moving up Fireman to be able to get it back in on towards that barrier. Now Scyther, ooh, had a moment there. Didn't actually connect with the core, but they take a barrier anyway. Fireman uses the Flame Flurry to be able to take a second for themselves, and Scyther and Liari moving up, trying to make an aggressive angle happen. A nice Rose Warp from Liari, going to be able to put them in a position, potentially get the score. Scyther takes the shot, and there is the lineup with Liari. Bunn Bunn Bonanza finds some life and take a set win in game number 2.
They're really hoping to find themselves some valuable awakenings here, as Lilybun will be getting the first pick. We have Stinger in this draft, which is likely going to be picked up from the side of Bunn Bunn if they can, but Rapid Fire has to be the first choice here to help with that defense and that damage output for Lilybun. Kai's going to be picking up the specialized training, taking it away from Luna, and also making that Giga Blast quite a threat as Aerials find its way to Liari to help with that mobility. That extra range can have a lot of mix-up situations come out, as the Stinger is going to be denied off of the side of Scyther 12 by Fire Madden. Scyther 12 opting to go into among Titans here, gonna help with mobility, gonna do quite a bit of work as well. And lastly, Glass Cannon can actually help Pensando be even more aggressive than he's already been. We'll see if it's gonna pan out that way as well.
That's a speedy Luna for sure, so we'll see what Scyther's going to be able to make happen with that one. Nearly finding a KO onto J-Man, and it does open up an opportunity for Lily, but good defense out of Pensando, just in full control of the core, using those Blobbos to juggle it back and forth and managing to keep everything safe the whole way through as we start to duel it midfield. Good damage onto J-Man, though, going to force him back. Scyther nearly finds the KO, forces out the elusive, and will try to keep that Kai on the back foot. Lily, nice defense, dashing out, getting back to strike in time to save the defense there. It's both goalies stepping up on this point. Another clear on out as Fireman losing out on more and more health. Will take one of the barriers, will end up KO'd, but there's an open goal now for the side of the Flying Blobbos. Let's see what can be done here for Bunn Bunn Bonanza on the power play. Only 1 or 2 seconds left. Sending it back on over. Scyther going to be able to find that second barrier. Open goal now for both sides as both are at full strength, 3 members apiece. The Crater puts it right back into position, and Scyther follows it up, doing everything in the goal arc to find that point.
Really good that from Scyther there, just immediately following it up, and there wasn't really an angle for Pensando to go, because even if he continues to clear upwards, Luna will just continue on the dash even further and just get that core anyway. So great setup there as Bunn Bunn's immediately taking 2 barriers here, looking to make this a quick goal. Can't quite get it through in the end, but the damage still is going to continue to flow through.
Oh, another
with
one!
A beautiful dash redirect will actually get the goal in. Scyther is doing such a good job on his Luna right now.
Talked about it pre-game. This is the guy that we want to see step up for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, and Scyther 12 showing up in this game number 2. A little bit of a slow start, but since then been on fire on this Luna. They pick up a couple of awakenings, but Fire Madden able to isolate Lilybun on the bottom, takes her off of the map and creates a power play here for the Flying Blobbos. J-Man with a shooting angle down to Fire Madden, saved by Liari, cleared by Liari. Lilybun able to show back up and clear things out as well, so they do hold on from the power play. Now it's back into Fire Madden's hands. Liari doing her best to clear it out. Will actually find a KO there onto Pensando. So now no goalie available for the Flying Blobbos. How well will they be able to hold on here? There's the Crystal Thorns coming through for a second one, and Scyther takes the shot in what will surely be an MVP set for him, bringing them up to 2-1.
MEP set going towards Scyther. Missile propulsion still being in the draft and will drop here as well. Adrenaline Rush also incredibly high prior though. The downside is you're gonna likely have to give 1-2 punch to Juno if you're going for either of them. And Scyther is not happy with that. Will take the 1-2 punch for himself. Still gonna be a good awakening to be taken up, but it's gotta sting a little bit that he can't get Missile or Adrenaline Rush here. A Spark being picked up for the side of Pensando. Stagger Swagger going the way of Liari to deny that survivability, as Sax on Sax and Twin Drive are getting picked up for Fire Madden, and J-Man gonna help with that speed, with that pressure. And last but not least, the Adrenaline Rush finding its way to Lilybun. So if they can set themselves up to get any kind of kill going, Lilybun has even more speed to work with to be aggressive and to help on that offense.
It's crazy to see this composition out of Bunn Bunn Bonanza and have nobody take Missile Prop, but it's the world that we are living in here, Sloth, as what a run here from Scyther and Liari. Great positioning on these setups, and with a numbers advantage, it's just oh so easy for them to keep the pressure on towards these barriers, opening on up the goal. Liari and Scyther looking to close out what has been an immaculately played point. It is getting held on to for a while. Liari still up in their face, will not be able to get control over the core, and it will be cleared out. So not able to finish things off as easily as they started it. Bunn Bunn Bonanza now going to have to fall back on defense for a short while, but Liari sets up with another piercing shot, barely fended away by Pensando, and now helped on out by the sentry turret, but Lily not able to get back in time, will lose out on her second barrier. Blobbo going to stop the flip from Liari, and they nearly give up the goal for it, but Lily is able to get there in time, and Lily finds the KO, finds the setup, and closes the point out for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
And you can see it in the gameplay from Bunn Bunn Bonanza. They're just using abilities continuously and just making it so difficult for the side of Flying Blobbos to stay on the map. A lot of damage will just continuously get dumped, and again, eventually you're gonna run out of evades. Eventually you're just gonna have to start tanking it, and when you're starting to tank it, you're gonna be taken off the map. Again, J-Man being very low here as the first barrier drops, has one evade to his name, but definitely will not want to use it anytime soon. But again, the pressure is just being built continuously, as you can just see ability after ability coming out, but the specialized training actually gives J-Man the kill here. Power play now in favor of the Flying Blobbos.
Trying to hold on now as they've got to withstand the pressure of the power play. Fireman going to be able to take that barrier. Lilybun doing her best to clear things out. Nearly takes Fireman off the map. Liari nearly does it as well, but they've got to watch out for these shots coming on through. Lily trying to clear things out. Fireman has an opening onto the bottom. J-Man trying to fire it off, but will be saved by the sentry turret, and Liari now at midfield. Going to try to duel for it. A KO found for Lily again. That's an Adrenaline Rush proc. Will get back on over. Will have the opportunity now to be able to move on to J-Man instead. J-Man turns the KO right back onto the goalie, though, looking for one more shot, but Liari and Scyther are in position to be able to defend, trading power plays back and forth, and I don't know that J-Man's out of the woods yet, but need to defend up against Fireman and these dash punches. 3 members apiece now for both sides. Barely saved as Fireman takes the shot with the Flame Flurry. The sentry turret doing its job to be able to hold on to the defense just a little bit longer there that time. Liari takes another one. That's actually Scyther shooting over towards the barrier, still not able to find its way past Pensando. And Pensando sees an opening for a Blobbo shot. finds its way into the goal 1-1.
That glass cannon Deadeye primary in overtime is just going to send that core flying almost immediately. No need for any kind of 1-2 if you are in a situation like that, as they even out the set and they're looking to build on this advantage. But again, we're just about 7 seconds into the set. J-Man already down to seemingly 1 HP already. A barrier does end up dropping here on the side of Bunn Bunn as they're holding on to the second barrier for an extended while here, but they're not clear just yet. Court goes out to the side of Flying Blobbos. Now one barrier drops, second one doesn't drop as Pinsando's holding on with those Blobbos just fine. But again, you just see one ability after the other. J-Man's just really fighting for his life here.
Yeah, as always, can't get too distracted by the character combat and end up losing out on those barriers, but there's going to be a nice KO found by Fire Madden, taking Lily Bunn off of the map for a little bit longer, forcing Scyther and Liari to play on defense. They can't hold on to the barrier. Still waiting on that respawn. Lily arrives. Glitch Pop clears out the core, as does the Cyber Swipe, putting down that sentry and setting up a good offense for the rest of her team. Fireman takes one more shot, but it's from too far away. Scyther finding his way in, nearly going to be able to take it. Another big crater deals good damage over to Pensando, but it is another shot from J-Man. The Giga Blast sends it across the map and into the goal.
And J-Man is playing this so well, staying alive for so long under pressure, and even in those situations being able to use that Giga Blast to actually create an attack that Lilybun's just not able to recover from. As now Flying Blobbos are 1 point away from sending us to a set 5 here, and they very much would like to do that. They don't want to try to go to a game 3. They want to finish it off here, take the series 2-0 as they get the second barrier as well. Scyther trying to get an attack going, but this is a dash. Pinzano now running up, has a flip available. The Sad Boys angle will not take any barrier there, as Bunn Bunn is back in control of the core.
Yeah, really tough angle there. Not quite going to be able to find it home, but Fire Madden will show you how to do it. Flying Blobbos take the set, and we will be going to a set number 5 here. Flying Blobbos, blood in the water, want to try to take the win right here and get themselves into the qualification match.
And you have a bunch of good awakenings for the Kaiju. You have to fight or flight. You could even argue you might want to take up the recovery drone again, just for survivability reasons. But no, fight or flight will be the pick to help with that speed that J-Man can be working with. Super Surge, a solid pickup for Lilybun. Again, more damage on that Amy. Going to be much more lethal with those Cyber Swipes as well. As Explosive Entrance finds its way to Pensando, giving him a lot more area to work with. Liari picking up a second spark. Going to have her speed even be a bit faster now, as she has agility and resilience. And Reverberation, a solid pickup for Fireman and giving that extra bit of HP to just stay alive. Recovery drone also not to be understated here, as Scyther 12 is now close to being back to normal size.
Yeah, for sure. We will see how much work that is going to end up doing here. You get a little bit more a strike angle, but still has all that movement speed from the Among Titans earlier. A nice barrage from J-Man finds that second barrier. Opens things up a little bit, but Scyther able to find one back on the other side. Liari and Scyther are going to have to play at a high level right now. They do find the KO on towards Juliet, and they will have an opportunity on the power play here to make a little bit more happen, but gets snuck away from them. Lily not quite able to find it with the Sentry. Fireman now back available, and now going to look for a little bit of an offensive angle of their own. Scyther and Liari, there's two right in their face. There's the Flame Flurry, nowhere to go. Fire Madden puts it in the goal. 2 more to go for the Flying Blobbos.
They're looking to close it out right here, and now they do not want to be going to this game 3 on Autumn City, as we're going into this next kickoff here, and the attack immediately gets started up again, but actually a beautiful missile from Scyther will take the KO. Power play in favor of Bunn Bunn as they take a double barrier with it as well. Scyther and Liari doing such a good job just controlling the core in front of the net, playing around Pensando perfectly to even out this set.
And it's a best of 3 points for whether this series will continue on or not, Sloth. So well played there by the forward midfielder duo here from the side of Bunn Bunn Bonanza. Now real great pressure coming out of Fireman and J-Man. Another Flame Flurry. This time Lilybun's going to be able to deflect it away. Has that little bit of extra space. Scyther comes in with the boost, but it still gets fended off by J-Man. Nice shot from midfield. Going to be able to find its way on towards one barrier, but Lily and Liari need to navigate this thing out of danger. Fire Madden with the flip available, so dangerous on just taking a dash punch into the goal. Scyther going to have his recovery drone blown there as well as they finally find a KO onto the Luna. Blobbos still in position to be able to keep up the defense. Nice glitch pop from Lily Bunn. Will be able to hold on for longer, but Fireman again still with that flip available. Needs to be respected and will find a KO onto Scyther. Energy burst not even necessary. Such a difficult position for Liari and Lily Bunn to be in. Finally able to save one shot. Don't use the energy burst out of J-Man, so they actually managed to buy enough time for Scyther to respawn. Will be able to buy a little bit of extra time thanks to the addition of that crater. Another shot from J-Man is fended away. Liari clears it again, but can they manufacture themselves an offense? A KO for Liari makes it plenty easier as it's a power play to Bunn Bunn Bonanza. Snagged away by Pensando, though, and constructing something out of nothing. Pensando takes this one to match point.
And what a strike that was. Akora was going so fast. Pensando mid-air will find the strike and sets themselves up for the flip confirm. Flying Blobbos now 1 goal away from taking a series 2-0 as the double barrier does fall on their side. Fire Madden, though, still on the attack. Will keep up the pressure, almost finds a KO on Liari as well, but she's able to avoid it for now as the flip comes out. Scyther trying to dash to get the attack going as well, help the build up, but it doesn't go anywhere. So the second barrier is going to be dropped and the strike is going to be found. Fire Madden secures the Flying Blobbos this 3rd set, and Flying Blobbos will take this series 2-0.
There it goes. Flying Blobbos pulling it back here. And that was Bunn Bunn Bonanza betting it all on Scyther 12, coming in for that combo with Liari. Did not connect, did not find the shot into the goal. And it is yet another Fire Madden dash in the face of the team to take a victorious shot and win it for the Flying Blobbos. They're moving on to a qualification matchup against Wee's Little Bees.
An incredible game coming up from the Flying Blobbos, and special shout out to J-Man, who just was so clutch in all of these situations. These specialized trainings, Giga Blast just did so much work finding these KOs, finding the core intercepts, just making it so difficult for the side of Bunn Bunn to really be dealing with that Kai pick. And it's definitely a pick that needs to be considered now, that needs to be respected in draft, because J-Man has repeatedly been giving us such a show on that character. You might have to start thinking about whether you want to give them that freedom to pick that Kai and let J-Man work his magic.
Well, I mean, going the same comp 2 games in a row, 2 maps in a row, looking like they are all so comfortable on these individual picks. We watched so much Pensando Juno yesterday, and it's been so good for this team as well. It feels like you're running out of good decisions to make as far as what you're going to ban here. I'm very curious to see how a relatively revamped Wee's Little Bees roster is going to look here. They were, of course, Modern Magic in NASL, still the same slot, but keeping only Carmine, I believe, from that roster. So see how Wee's Little Bees are going to be able to perform here as they look to technically defend their NASL spot, but really it would be a new team in the league either way.
Yeah, most definitely. And we'll see how Flying Blobbos are going to match up into that. But before that, we're going to go into a short little break to get everything ready for that series. So do not go anywhere, as that qualification series is going to come up next.